touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma Race fans. We come at you live for another week of racing here in the series. And tonight, kicking off this week in March here, kind of the kickoff for spring. We're getting ready for the warmer weather ahead of us. And here we are in one of the hottest places you can go, Homestead, Miami. Maybe not the hottest. I mean, you got Arizona, of course, but for for spring, it's definitely a nice place to be this time of year. Good weather, warm weather, tropical, nearly kind of a subtropical vibe over here. And yeah, the USATrucks Eastern Division kicks off this week of racing here on a Monday night for Sigma Racing. Let's get through our starting lineup with tonight's drivers who will be fighting for the win here tonight. Starting on the front row, you've got the number 10 of Alex Sanvital, who has secured a win already this season, looking to try and rack up those wins, starting alongside Carlos Eduardo. And then you have the 81 of Snake Plissken alongside the number 9 of Alan Malcolm, the 88 of John Hagan with the 25 of Philip Purpura, the 45 of Sarah Taylor with the 96 of David Bird. Making his series debut here tonight for LFG Motorsports, that is the number 17 of Dale Bush. He just took home his first ever career win in the Sigma Arca Alpha division. We'll see how he fares in a very, very strong truck here tonight for LFG Motorsports. A pair of Hondas, as you also have the Tyler Aspinall Racing number 27 of Zane Phoenix right alongside of him. Next in row, you've got Brandon Butler II and Ralph Oberstadt, Andrew Moger and Eli the Wolf, Sebastian Galloway Jr. with the 32 of James Gunner, Wesley Shaw and Tim Mortz, Craig Popgris and Craig Bush, Kyle Ottawa and Guido Piano, your 2022 USATrucks champion, Cannon Gage, followed by Paul Valenzuela, Wyatt Wilkinson and Philip Manning, Gannon Bird with the 56 of Andre Stefan, Jeffrey Gerald and Ryan Little, John Underkoffler and Pedro Sales, Milano Grimm alongside the 8 there of Mitchell Carter, Daniel Bogdasarov, who has a ARCA win already this season, looking to try and match that here in the truck, starting right alongside Drew Clue. Deep in the field, though, they're going to be starting here today. Daniel Paulus Jr. with Jack Ross, and the last entry here tonight, Jamie Horseman, dead last in qualifying. You can't hear me. You might reset your, I can hear me through my broadcast, so I don't know if it fixed itself or not, but we're going to get rolling here tonight. 105 laps the distance. And thanks to Adam Sandler there for giving the command to start engines here tonight in Homestead. Oh, we got a dropper at the back of the field. The 16 blown engine right out of the gate for Jeffrey Gerald. What kind of mechanical failure are we looking at here? Pretty severe engine damage from the 16 machine right out of the gate. So that doesn't bode well.
You look good, Green.
Well, here we go. Off into turn 1. Here we go tonight. Alex Samvital with the early lead. Snake Plissken on that inside line looking to gain a spot there. They're going to go fan out on the backstretch, maybe even 3 wide in the midst of turn 2 here. And John Hagan jumps to the top spot now, so a shuffling of the leaders pretty early in this one. There we go. Got my ticker all fixed. So Sarah Taylor on the inside of John Hagan here. 105 laps tonight is going to blow by pretty quickly. So best to make your spot and try to move to the front as soon as possible, because 105 laps here goes really quick. It's weird how of all the tracks we go to, Homestead seems to be one of the quickest of the 1.5 mile tracks. Sarah Taylor leading some laps here tonight. David Berta up into the top 3. He's got a couple wins last year, looking to try and reach that echelon again here this year in 2026. He's got the Florida Weather Channel 96. How fitting here in Homestead tonight. Welcome in everyone to the stream. Hopefully all are doing well. It's been a busy day for me, and I'm excited to settle down and watch some racing here tonight. My schedule gets a little bit more jam-packed with the announcement that I'll be calling some more iRacing events here on Wednesday nights. So that does kind of tweak my schedule here on the Sigma side of things. But I'll still be broadcasting on Wednesday nights. It'll just be over on Intensity Broadcasting over on their YouTube channel. I'll be covering iRacing for the SCSRA Cup Series, and I got to cover them last season, which was roughly about 3 months ago. About 2 months ago now. Yeah, no, they hopped right into the next season this year, and I'm excited to see all the drivers back in action over there. Sarah Taylor holding the lead steady here as the Outlaw gang moving up to the front of the field. You got Snake Plissken and his buddy there, the number 25 of Philip Purpura, moving into a top 5 running position at the moment. Let's do a bit of a through the field here tonight, since we got a little bit of a slow in the action. Yeah, Philip Purpura running in 5th, followed by the number 9 of Alan Malcolm, the 23 of Brandon Butler, the 74 of Andrew Moger, and the 10 of Alex Samvital. Then you have the 52 right there. That is Wesley Shaw. The 29 of Eli the Wolf. The 27 of Zane Phoenix. Craig Popkris, a winner this season as well, alongside the 18 of Carlos Eduardo. We've got some developments up at the front here, though, it looks like. David Bird to the top spot with a good push. Gets around the 45 of Sarah Taylor. Sarah Taylor, she's dropping backwards now, back to 5th. Well, looks like there will be an opening there in 5th at least that she can settle in line. Yeah, we want to do it through the field, but I don't know if the front of the field is going to let us get through that, as there's some good racing breaking out here. David Bird leading the way right now in that number 96 machine for Jesse Saturn Racing. Three wide for 4th place. There's a bit of a bump there in the pace. You saw everyone kind of get hiccuped up. And now John Hagan settles in second. 3 by 3, they come right behind him. And John Hagan with a good run down the backstretch. He is a wheelman when it comes to these trucks. He's really cut his teeth in the truck department of racing, and tonight showing his muscle as one would expect. There we go. His lone Sigma career win has come in a truck, and that came at a dirt track at the Chili Bowl. And so it's been a little bit far and few between since his last win back in 2023, but he's got a good truck here tonight. He's rolling up to the front, and he takes that lead away from the 96 of David Bird. And they're 3 wide for 5th place. They continue to get 3 wide around Homestead here today. It's definitely a very racy track. So let's get back through the field as I was doing. Currently in 16th, you've got James Gunner. The 14 of Philip Manning. 17 of Dale Bush in his series truck debut. 3 of Ralph Oberstadt. The 84 of Craig Bush. The 07 of John Underkoffler. 95 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. mid-pack right now. Right there alongside Milano Grimm, who has the fastest lap in the race here so far. Guido Piano in 24th. Kyle Ottawa 25th. Pedro Sales. Tim Morse. Mitchell Carter. And a little bit of double wide race in here with the 49 of Paul Valenzuela. The 54 of Ryan Little. Oh, and Andre Stefan running in 32nd. Wyatt Wilkinson has fallen backwards here as well, with Gannon Bird and Daniil Boggs. Boogie running in 34th. It's not a good night at all for Daniil. Daniel Pauls Jr. in 35th. Jack Ross, Jamie Horseman, and Drew Clue rounding out the field here. Another contender up front here fighting for the lead. You got the number 9 of Alan Malcolm and the 23 of Brandon Butler II. So Brandon Butler still has not been able to lock down that first career win here in Sigma Racing. This truck campaign for him is kind of a limited schedule this year, and picking the ones that he wants to run at. Well, he is a full-time Cup regular at the moment, and he's been on a tear in the Cup Series this year for Burnt Money Racing. BMR picked him up at the start of the season, knowing exactly who they were drafting, who they were picking, and he's proven to be a very stout contender for potentially even a title contender, let alone Rookie of the Year candidate this season in Sigma Cup. He's currently driving the number 42 Dollar Tree machine for BMR, and has racked up quite a few top 5s to start this season. Sits in the top 3 in points. So sitting third here tonight, right there behind the 9 of Alan Malcolm. Can he convert something over to a great finish in these trucks as well? So far, no cautions here tonight. 88 laps remaining after 17 laps are in the book here from the main distance of 105. Got Zane Phoenix starting to close in, and here we go. It's swap at the front for the lead. That is the 9 of Alan Malcolm side by side with John Hagan, the wheelman. Hagan gets stuck up high, and he might lose more than one spot as he has the 23 of Brandon Butler right there behind him. And there we go. The 23 takes the opportunity that was presented. He's going to try to move up to second here. Zane Phoenix, he wants to try and match his teammate who won in the West Division. As Tyler Aspinall Racing has definitely wheeled out some stout trucks this season. One win already with their other trucks on the West Coast. But at the moment, it's really getting tied up at the front of the field here. It is a Trevor Ventures number 9 Toyota Tundra of Alan Malcolm leading the Steel Shangle Racing 23 machine, the Steel Shangle Racing 88 machine of John Hagan, and the Tyler Aspinall Racing number 27 of Zane Phoenix. 3 wide for 4th place there. The 10 of Sam Vital thought better of it. Well, maybe not. He's going to keep it in the throttle here and still try to stick that nose inside. 27 kind of gave him a hip check there. It's like, don't try to make that move quite yet. I got the pace. I'm going to keep the position. Good run out of the 27 here as he's closing in on the back bumper of the 23. And he got 3 wide for about 7th on back. That is a duo of the Outlaw Gang. Purpura and Snake Plissken are kind of tied at the hips here tonight. And then you also got another one of them, Philip Manning, part of that Outlaw Gang, moving into the picture. He's had a very tough start to this truck campaign this year. Let me actually look back at our previous results. I feel like he's had probably the worst results of everyone. Now, there's a few people that have gotten less points than him, but he sits 30th in the points with 2 races, only accruing 11 points total. His finishes have been a 23rd at Daytona and a 38th at Atlanta. So Philip Manning looking to try and turn that around here tonight at Homestead. Of course, your points leader is, interestingly enough, Philip Purpura, who has not yet won a race this season, but his consistency has proven to be a very valid contender for the title this year. A 3rd and an 8th has actually stumped that of Craig Popkris' 1 win and a 12th, along with our other winner, which was Alex Sanvital, who had a 35th and a win. So 2 races is not necessarily a great gauge this early in the season for points and all that, but that's what we got so far. So in the meanwhile, let's hop back up to the top. Your leader, the number 9 of Alan Malcolm, kind of cruising away with it here at the moment. John Hagan trying to rebound here, get up to 2nd again, taking that position away from Brandon Butler the 2nd. Actually, I stand corrected. John Hagan has 2 career wins in Sigma. One of them at the truck level and one of them at the Bridge to Cup level. So I totally had forgotten his 1 win in the Bridge to Cup series this past year. He's still seeking that first career win in the Sigma Cup Series, as he has a full-time Cup ride for Jacob Shangle Racing. He's been showing some promise. That number 88 machine has actually been pretty stout this season. But there you go, John Hagan back to the top spot. And so, as we should expect here tonight, at least one round of pit stops. They're going to go past halfway, and then likely we'll see the pit windows open up around lap 60 and on. That means they'll be good to go. They'll be able to make it with a one-stopper here tonight in Homestead. And we're already about a quarter of the way through the race here, so it's going to be a quick dash to the end. Two very distinctive packs of trucks have kind of assembled, or rather one pack has disassembled into two packs. Of course, the leader of this pack is none other than John Hagan. The leader on that second pack, though, is going to be of importance, as you've got the number 52 of Wesley Shaw and a whole cast of rowdies right behind him there. With fuel mileage, you never know if this could actually be, could be a pivotal position to be in. You never know. We'll see how the strategies play out here tonight. Maybe someone from the second pack can still win this thing. Kind of impressed here seeing John Hagan up front, putting on a good show. This newly formed Shangle Steel Racing team put together during the off-season. Calvin Steel Racing, as many know, a staple in the Sigma Cup Series. And for the last couple of years, CSR has been functioning as a truck team. But ever since the passing of Calvin back in 2019, it's been a little harder for the team to run without a little bit of support. And so in enters the Shangle family to help support the Calvin Steel Racing venture outside of the Cup Series. Cup still fully Calvin Steel Racing. Keep the name, keep the the history, the legendary name status there in the Cup side. But they've evolved to Shangle Steel Racing in the other series, the Under Series. Keeping that steel name in these lower classes to help raise the next level of Sigma racers up the ladder. Man, it's getting crazy here for second on back. You could see it was getting a little bit topsy-turvy. I thought there was going to be a wreck with 4 wide. In enters the 32 of James Gunner, up into the top 10 now. So yeah, with the support from Shangles supporting the Steel family, it seems like they've got a good engine program going for the Chevrolet truck, at least, the truck platform. They're still struggling a little bit on the Cup side of things, but we did see a very, very solid performance from Lucas Holmes for Calvin Steel Racing last Cup race at Texas. So perhaps on the up and up, we'll see. Meanwhile, there's a battle for the lead brewing. 23 of James Gunner and the 9 of Alan Malcolm are caught back up. We will have a little bit of lap traffic in the mix here. Looks like coming up in a couple laps. Holy cow, how about the 46 of Craig Popkris, your season opener winner this season? He's up into the top 5, looking for a solid finish here tonight, the number 46 machine. Have trouble with teams this year as there's so many new team names, kind of new drivers with teams. But Craig Popkris, that is Reemergence Racing. Team owner Tasha Wright, who is actively a Cup driver right now, opened up this team in the ARCA and Truck Series to help raise the next level and more likely help farm, get farm talent for Courting Brothers Motorsports. So Reemergence Racing, definitely a satellite team to KBM. And they seem to have landed on a good driver with Craig Popkris in the number 46 here, as he has a win this season, sits second in the points. His worst finish has been a 12th so far. So a first and a 12th in the first two races. Here we go. Lap traffic now is going to be a problem. John Hagan needs to make some high-level IQ moves to get around this lap traffic. The 9 is going to try to go low. The 88 stays high. This is going to open the door for everyone else behind them. Double wide lap traffic. John Hagan gets stuck up in between two of them. Oh, and now the 9 is going to be blocked here by the 28, as the 88 is going to keep the advantage on the high side. Man, that was a nifty trick. Impressive. John Hagan keeps the lead through the tumultuous lap traffic drama there. John Hagan's got full speed ahead. 4 wide back there with your leaders and the lapped truck. 28 of Jamie Horseman. The 02 of Drew Clue. Are they going to wreck? Man, it's a wreck waiting to happen with this lap traffic. 4 wide, fanning out down the front stretch. Don't know how we've made it without a wreck here, but it's getting a little bit close for comfort. Ooh, the 9 of Alan Malcolm gets really hung up there with the 99 of Daniel Paulus Jr. But the drivers clear of the traffic now. The 23 of Brandon Butler, the second, in line behind John Hagan. 74 of Andrew Moger, the 32 of James Gunner, and the 25 of Philip Purpura. All of which have a little bit more cleaner track ahead of them. Yeah, Philip Purpura's got a pretty tall order to keep fulfilled here tonight as the points leader. His consistency, I'm sure, would love to dominate and win a race before, we get too much further through the season, but consistency will still win you a championship. It doesn't have to be all about race wins. Honestly, realistically, you could have a Sheldon Creed type driver win the championship in these trucks. It is a big factor for wanting to get those wins. Once the USATrucks East-West chase starts later in the year, wins are actually bonus points that'll help seat you in the chase. Kind of a throwback to the original chase, where if you had more wins, you'd have more points, and you'd have a better advantage going into those last 10 races of the NASCAR season. How about that? The number 17 of Dale Bush now up into the top 10. Quietly, consistently, series debut, that is LFG Motorsports, number 17 machine of Dale Bush. He stayed in this lead group the whole time. Looks like lap traffic has pretty much cleared this lead group of trucks. But it's all John Hagan at the front. And as we're approaching halfway, and you look at the laps led here tonight, John Hagan has led 27, Alan Malcolm 11. 5 laps for Sarah Taylor, 1 lap for Alex Sambital, and 4 laps for David Bird. So, as it sits, John Hagan looking to try and lock up led most laps here tonight, get those bonus points under his belt. But the competition is very stout here tonight. Homestead looks very racy. We're getting some great action all the way throughout the field. Seen some 3 wide, nearly 4 wide for positions here tonight. But the dreaded pit stops are around the corner. These drivers are going to want to make sure they're on their marks to make the best pit stop they can do with one stop in the race so that they can come back out and have a shot to win this one. Let us go visit our second group again, see how they're faring here tonight. And they're going to be dealing with the lap traffic now, as that's the 08 of Guido Piano running in 19th, leader of the second group. He's gotten around the 52 of Wesley Shaw. Then you have Mitchell Carter and Andre Stefan, followed by John Underkoffler, Sebastian Galloway Jr., Craig Bush, Milano Grimm. Impressively, Milano Grimm still with the fastest lap in the race here tonight. So Milano was able to get a caution, perhaps maybe could get back into this race here with the speed alone, but we'll see. Tim Morse, Kyle Ottawa, Ryan Little, that's your second grouping. Then you have a third group with Wyatt Wilkinson at the front, Gannon Bird, Pedro Sales, Daniel Boggs, Paul Valenzuela, and then back to your leaders who just put those other drivers a lap down. New leader during the through the field segment there, Alan Malcolm takes over from the 88 of John Hagan. Halfway now, halfway to go. Your points leader, Philip Purpura, hanging in solid there in third. Defending the position now against the 23 of Brandon Butler the second. But Dale Bush, man, he's still climbing into the picture here. So this is a rather unique stat because not everyone starts out in both of their series debuts in back-to-back weeks like this. But Dale Bush last week won his series debut in the Sigma Arca Alpha division at Pikes Peak International Raceway, which was impressive because it was his series debut. That was his first ever Sigma start and his first ever Sigma career win. I don't think, actually, I'm almost certain that between two different series, we've never had a driver win their series debut in both of their series debut starts. It doesn't happen. Usually it's a veteran in the sport that gets the win. So keep your eyes on that 17 machine. If he could get the win here tonight, he would make history, being the first ever driver to win both of his season opening series opening, not necessarily season opening. First career stat, first career start, and converted over to a first career win. Still got a little bit of work to do here tonight. Some of those trucks ahead of him are very fast. They're going to be very tough to beat. Especially the likes of John Hagan, who has been the cream of the crop here tonight, leading so many laps. Alan Malcolm trying to spoil the party a little bit here. But after lap 60, that's when we're going to have to start looking, keeping our binoculars out for who makes the pit stops and how long those pit stops take, who makes the undercut, who takes the overcut. Will we get a caution, perhaps? Because usually if there's a group of trucks pitting, that opens up a window of danger for the drivers exiting pit roads. So John Hagan fighting hard on the inside. He's not going to be able to make the move there. Keeping it very honest, very close to the front of the lead. That is the 28 of Jamie Horseman, who's already last place, one lap down. Okay, sorry folks, I had to click out of something real quick there. So first caution not happened. Daniel takes out the 28. Hard hit there on Jammy Horseman. Race stays green. He rolls around and heads down pit road. You can see the damage on the tail end of that truck. It is toasted. No caution though. The race stays green. Weird occurrence. We should have had a wreck for that one. I almost want to go back and see that replay one more time. Yeah, let's go back and see that replay one more time. And maybe this will be a good scope if we look at the 19 of Daniil Bogdasarov. Man, it looked like the 28 just tried to chop low. Way too early to commit to pit road, so I honestly have no idea why that move was made. "41 laps to go. Still no one has made the pit stops here. No caution. '28's going to put himself in harm's way again. Sigma officials often do like to sit on their caution flags. It's definitely a weird situation not to get a caution out of that one. Wow, pit stops are now starting to happen. We got our first takers down pit road. That is teammate pairing, Tyler Aspinall racing Carlos Eduardo and Zane Phoenix taking the undercut strategy. So big move to come in first. We'll see if it pays off. That means the next couple laps we're going to start seeing more takers. There you go, your leader, John Hagan, and the 25 of Philip Purpura, followed by the 46 of Craig Popkris, the 17 of Dale Bush, and the 96 of David Bird. And then a whole nother slew of them, the 56 Andre Stefan, the 07 of John Underkoffler, the 51 of Milano Grimm, the 15 of Tim Morse, the 95 of Sebastian Galloway Jr., the 84 of Craig Bush, the 0 Pedro Sales, the 49 of, and the 19 of Daniil Valenzuela, the 49. So Boogie, as has been referred to before, Daniil Boogie was the cause for that wreck, and no caution. So it's a weird scenario. You'd probably think that that'd bring out a caution. Maybe that's what Boogie was trying to do, was get a caution to help stack things back up here today. But alas, nothing panned out. The race stays green, and we're rolling through these green flag pit stops. Coming out up front, the 27 of Zane Phoenix, who took that undercut. Right behind him now, the 46 of Craig Popkris, the 17 of Dale Bush, and the 18 of Carlos Eduardo. That should be your new leaders here. Impressively. We'll see how the others shake out with their last round of pit stops coming here. I do believe they are rejoining the racetrack right there alongside of them. But the early takers down pit road are the ones that are capitalizing at the moment. Especially the 17 of Dale Bush, the 46 of Craig Popkris, the 74 of Andrew Moger, and the 27 of Zane Phoenix. Ooh, but ahead of them already, the advantage goes to Philip Purpura and John Hagan, along with the 9 of Alan Malcolm, who are the leaders at the moment. I missed them. They must have came out a couple laps later. They're right there ahead of your earliest pit stops there. It's back to the guys that we knew running up front, all for the start of the race. Hagan back to the top spot as he takes it away from Alan Malcolm. Philip Purpura in third. Brandon Butler the second, running in fourth. James Gunner fifth. Philip Manning with a good top 10 run here. Zane Phoenix, Andrew Moger, Craig Popkris, Dale Bush, and Carlos Eduardo. Give it up for Ralph Oberstadt, a very savvy run here tonight, a top 15 performance, and maybe even better if he can get a little bit of luck, maybe some breaks in his way to gain some more spots there. Eli the Wolf, Alex Sanvital, Sarah Taylor, and Cannon Gage, your top 16, your lead group. David Bird and Snake Plissken unfortunately lost the lead draft on pit stop, so maybe a mistake on pit road slowed them up here as they're outside of the main draft. They could fall victim to the second group if they're not careful. Yeah, brutal. Laps to go next time by. At the moment, looks like we have a 3-truck fight for the win, but you never know. Lap traffic could definitely mix things up again here. Our leaders could start losing the advantage that they have over the rest of the field. Here comes Philip Purpura knocking on the door. Well, folks, for the rest of the racing action this week, as the trucks have typically kicked off each race week so far on Monday nights, Tuesday, get ready for some more Sigma ARCA racing action, as tomorrow night, with the Sigma ARCA series, we're going to be running at Atlanta for the Georgia Peach Blast 100. That'll be the Sigma Delta division. Also, part of a doubleheader now on Tuesday nights, you're going to get to see the Bridge to Cup series, since I'll be busy on iRacing coverage for Wednesday nights. Bridge to Cup will be heading to Fontana for Save the Cats 250. So that should be a good race at the 2-mile extinct racetrack, super speedway style, kind of like a Michigan almost, Fontana. Man, I miss Fontana. I wish I could have made it out to a race there before they demolished it. And good luck ever seeing a short track built in its place. I doubt that'll ever happen. NASCAR had promises, and those were kind of some empty promises I could have sniffed out from that year that they were trying to plan it out. But we'll see. Hopefully they can make a liar of me and put a small track there in Fontana. But yeah, that's where we'll be Tuesday night. Wednesday, after my iRacing stream, I'll try to get in the sprint qualifier for the Sigma Cup Series, whereas we'll be running at Papyrus, kind of a fusion road course super speedway that was created by the creators of NR2003, which is why the namesake of the track is Papyrus Motorsports Park. We'll be running the Papyrus 226. It's a pretty neat racetrack, lefts and rights, drafting, you know, full speed, full package, and it makes for some interesting races. Well, that's part of our doubleheader this week, is we're going to go to those hybrid super speedway tracks for 2 nights in a row. as on Friday the 13th, we're going to go run the 8 Bowl. Also a fascinating, unique hybrid super speedway road course track where the track actually crosses over the other half of it to make a true figure 8, but you never actually collide with the center of the racetrack since the elevation takes you up and below that segment of the track. So it's a bridge basically. And man, that 8 Bowl race has been home to some very gnarly, nasty wrecks. Go figure. We're going to go run it on Friday the 13th. We'll see how many cup cars get tore up on Friday night. So you won't want to miss the 8 Bowl annual, the 8 Ball annual, that is. Well, we're down to 23 laps to go. It's still John Hagan at the top, and now Philip Purpura slots his way into second here. He wants to prove that his points lead is no fluke. He wants to try and get a win and really tamp that points lead in his favor. Alan Malcolm spicing it up here as they start closing in on the lap traffic of Jammy Horseman. A wreck waiting to happen as long as these leaders get around the 28 with care. 3 wide almost for your lead. The 25 Purpura gets stuck around with the slow car there, slow truck. It's kind of a secondary group nose to tail there, led by the 32 of James Gunner in 5th place. Welcome into the stream, welcome, welcome. We've been treated to an exciting race so far, and we've got our first caution of the night. Man, it took us 83 laps to get a wreck that actually facilitates a full course caution. And here we have that full course caution. This is going to make things very interesting now. So let's see where the wreck happened. It's got to be whoever's running at the tail end of the field right now. Maybe the 54? Yeah, it looks like Ryan Little gets... Ooh. So this was the second main group with the 54 of Ryan Little, the 08 of Guido Piano, and the 51 of Milano Grimm. 3 wide. Milano Grimm just drives in there a little too hot. Collects the 08, the champ. Man, Guido Piano goes for a ride, and so does the 54 of Ryan Little. But for them, that may have been the caution they needed to try and get back into this race, running in 18th there. Looks like that was all it was, a lone spinner. No more connections with any of the other drivers. So a quick and easy caution here. Well, shoot, now there's a blown engine on the 00 of Jack Ross. Under caution from 35th place. Mechanical failure. Blown engine from the 00. So you can see him rolling around on the front stretch here. Boom, blows it up. Well, let us go ahead and implement green-white checkers in case we need them here tonight. As we get settled into our first caution of the night, let us do a quick check through the field here and see where everyone's running. Of course, we got John Hagan as the leader. The 9 of Alan Malcolm. The 25 of Philip Purpura. The 23 of Brandon Butler, the second. We will go ahead, issue an into the line for the 28 of Jammy Horseman, as he is not on the lead lap here. Then it's the 32 of James Gunner, 74 of Andrew Moger, 17 of Dale Bush, 46 of Craig Popgris, 14 of Philip Manning. And your top 10, Carlos Eduardo. Then his teammate, Zane Phoenix, right behind him. Ralph Oberstadt, Alex Sanvital, Cannon Gage, and another driver with an EOL. Drew Clue is laps down here tonight. In 15th, you've got Sarah Taylor. 16th, Eli the Wolf. David Bird, Snake Plissken, John Underkoffler, and Milano Grimm. Followed by Andre Stefan, Tim Morse, Wesley Shaw, Mitchell Carter, and Kyle Ottawa. Guido Piano, Gannon Bird, Pedro Sales, Wyatt Wilkinson, and Craig Bush, your top 30. With Sebastian Galloway Jr., Paul Valenzuela, Daniel Boggs Dasarov, Ryan Little, Daniel Pauls Jr., Jamie Horseman, and Drew Clue. So 2 wrecks here tonight. Only one of them turned into a caution. We're under our first caution of the night on lap 83. This is going to put us into about a 20-lap shootout to the finish now. And go ahead and just forget everything that we knew for the first 85 laps here tonight, because this is anyone's game at this point. Once they get doubled up on the backstretch and the pace truck pulls off, it's like we're going to unleash as they come rolling through turn 3. Pace truck will pull off on the exit of turn 4. John Hagan and Alan Malcolm are going to lead them to the restart. Philip Purpura, your leader, would love to get the win here. How about Dale Bush in his series debut? He could become one of the only drivers to win his debut in ARCA, following up his win of a debut in trucks. Very hard to do. He's very much in a shot to get it done. Alan Malcolm gets the lead. John Hagan a little bit slow on the start here. Takes his truck a lap or two to get really rolling here around Homestead. Look at that. James Gunner's going to stick his nose down low. 88's going to have to defend the position now. 32, James Gunner would love to try and fight for the win here tonight, and maybe get some fresh stickers on that 32 machine with a good win. Bring the sponsors right to your door. And there we go. Alan Malcolm, John Hagan, 1-2. Followed by Philip Manning on the low side of the 32 of James Gunner. Craig Popkris is joining the picture here. Zane Phoenix very much within a shot there as well. Good run from some of the drivers that are really aching to get a win. Top 3 winless so far this season. But look out, 4th place, Craig Popkris has a win, the season opener earlier this year. Look at that, the 17 of Dale Bush gets on the inside for the first time since the restart. He was stuck in the middle, and now he's going to be able to make some moves and try to fight for the win. John Hagan slicing and dicing behind the number 9. Alan Malcolm defending the position well. And outside the top 5, we've got 3x3 almost in the mid-pack all the way through, it looks like, for quite some time. But single file for your top 7. Wow, some Honda teammate, well, not teammates, but Honda comrades there for Tyler Aspinall Racing and LFG Motorsports working together. Kind of interesting when you see manufacturers work together outside of different teams. LFG Motorsports, that is the highest running of their drivers. The other one blown the engine before the race started and is credited with dead last here tonight. Poor Jeffrey Gerald. But how about this rookie sensation, Dale Bush, top 5 right now. Could he get a little bit higher than there? But Hopefully the broadcast picks back up. The internet shipped out there for a minute. Welcome back, folks. Stayed tuned, I'm hoping, and didn't miss anything. Internet dropped for a minute. We're back. Still a few laps left to go. Now it is 10 laps to go. Who's going to get the job done here? Kind of followed into a single line, follow the leader affair at the moment. John Hagan seems to have kind of lost his muster a little bit. Philip Manning has worked his way up to third, while the other of the Outlaw gang, the points leader, Philip Purpura, has fallen far from grace, outside the top 10. Running 15th. Here we go. John Hagan looks low on the 9. Was not able to execute. Still 10 laps to go, though. Just got to be very patient and take the opportunities when you get them. Good run from John Hagan. He's going to look low. He's going to have a shot here to drag race down the front stretch. Welcome back, folks. Internet's back here. I paused the race so you wouldn't miss the exciting conclusion, as it seemed like things were getting really crazy there. So if you're in chat, go ahead and let me know. Here we go, John Hagan on the attack, even the 46 on the attack. So we're getting doubled up here at the front field. Hagan had a shot but didn't actually get anywhere. The momentum seems to be carrying, though. They are getting the draft put into place, and it might turn into a lead change here soon. 88's got to run. He's going to see the inside. Try to get that clean air on the front nose of the Chevy Silverado. Not quite. And now a good draft behind him. That's going to force... Ooh, Manning gets forced up high. This might be the best case scenario to get two Chevys hooked up nose to tail. John Hagan and Craig Popgris perhaps working together as Chevy stablemates. No, the 14 settles back into third, so John Hagan's still going to have to fend for himself. Great way to finish the race here tonight. Hopefully we can get a last lap pass for the win. And if I'm being greedy, perhaps even a photo finish would be exciting, but never expect those to come out very easily. Those are like the holy grail for Sigma. For all of NR, that is pretty much the holy grail. A photo finish at the line. 3 laps to go. John Hagan's got a good run now, and he's got the advantage on the inside line. Maybe the tire's starting to wear out just a little bit as Hagan's there on the inside, drag racing. They're doubled up behind. It's doubled all the way in the top 10 there. Here comes the 46 of Craig Popgris. You got the Toyota and Toyota hooked up on the outside, and got the Chevy and Chevy hooked up on the inside. Hagan with the advantage. 3 wide for 5th place. Alan Malcolm's still fighting strong on the outside, though. He's got the Toyota help, the drafting help on the outside. Man, we could be in for a treat of a finish here, as it's neither side want to give an inch. Finally, Hagan closes the door on the 9, but that 9's got the momentum to make a crossover maneuver. Couple laps left to go here, folks. Hagan holds the spot, but the 9 of Malcolm really, really wants it. Lap traffic is not going to be a factor here. Greg Popkris in third there. Alan Malcolm still flirting with trying to take the lead back. Side by side through turn 3. Here they are coming to the start-finish line. Side by side. It's going to be Malcolm. Malcolm gets the job done. Alan Malcolm wins this race by very slim margins over the 88 of John Hagan. Wasn't a photo finish per se, but definitely an exciting finish for sure. Wow. And Malcolm, he just kind of played that last lap to perfection. He got there alongside John Hagan, tried to use the momentum he could carry, and he had enough on the inside to keep the lead and steal the win. So heartbreak for John Hagan, who had the most laps led here tonight. Unfortunately, just comes up 0.4 of a second short. 4 thousandths of a second short, I mean. So Alan Malcolm gets his first win of the season, continuing the Trevor Ventures domination here in the USATrucks. Alex Sanvital, his teammate, won the last race, and here we have Alex and Alan now winning the first their first 2 races, these last 2 races of the season. So Trevor Ventures, they still have the formula here in the trucks. Tough to beat. Everyone else, they're actually figuring it out though. It's they're making it interesting. Definitely not a walk in the park anymore like it had been last year and the year prior. And the names have changed. Obviously, Alex Sanvital hops into that number 10 machine, filling the replacement of truck champion Jordan Walker, and picked up to it pretty quick like fish to water. And Alan Malcolm's been kind of their long-hold veteran in the Trevor Ventures stable for this USATrucks division here. So great finish, great racing. Can only be excited for what's left this week. Great debut for Dale Bush at top 15. The unfortunate statistic did not come to be, winning in his series debut for both ARCA and trucks. He came up 13 spots short here tonight. And ultimately, thanks to all of you for tuning in tonight. We did have some internet gremlins that were striking, and luckily was able to get it fixed pretty quickly each time the internet went down. So hopefully we don't have those problems all week, but at least I've figured out a way to where I can actually fix it during the stream, get back to live, and you won't miss any of the racing action. Still, it's better than a full game crash, which NR2003 is very notorious for. So congratulations yet again to Alan Malcolm getting the win here tonight. I know I want to try and get some more stuff done, like maybe revamping the advertisement screen here. It's great and all, but it just doesn't seem fresh. It doesn't seem 2026 inspired. So it's on my mind, but obviously it requires a little bit more free time. So appreciate it, folks. Glad you could make the stream here tonight. Hopefully all did a good race. All those were racing in the field tonight had a good one. And as for the rest of the week, hopefully you can tune in and catch your guys racing for the ARCA, Bridge to Cup, and Cup Series for this week. But with that, have a great night, everyone. Stay safe out there, and until next time, this is Jakester signing out.